This gentleman represents the Roswell Park Graduate Division and Horseheads, New York. His presentation, Demystifying the Fog, Electronic Nicotine Delivery Systems. Well, I deliver to you, Zachary Dunbar. Ready? You look like you're ready. Set. Pitch.
Raise your hand if you know what an e-cigarette is. Wow, that's a lot of you. Okay, hang with me, you might learn something. Okay, e-cigarettes can also be called electronic nicotine delivery systems. And the definition for what that means is right in the name. Electronic, these are products that are heated by batteries instead of burning. Nicotine delivery, you use them to inhale and exhale nicotine. And systems, they come in a variety of shapes and sizes. So you may have a massive vaporizer that you use on YouTube videos to look cool, or a tiny little Juul that you use to take one hit and be done. They still have the same point. You're using these products to get a nicotine fix. And speaking of Juul, that brand made more than $1 billion in profit in 2017. So there's a lot of controversy around using these products because they're so popular. So if you want to start to understand the controversy behind e-cigarette use and win a lot of Twitter fights, you have to understand who's using the products, how they're using those products, where they're using their products, and what those products' use means to passerby. How these products affect nearby people, plants, dogs, cats, babies. To start to understand that, my study looked at people who are cigarette and e-cigarette smokers. To stop it being confusing, I'm going to refer to those cigarette smokers as tobacco users. So we looked at those individuals using a national data set, and we probed their reasons for use in smoke-free places. Those are places where you can't smoke tobacco. What we found was that if you're a person who thinks your e-cigarette is safer to use than regular tobacco, you were more likely to report using that e-cigarette in places you can't smoke tobacco. Now that has a lot of important policy ramifications because there's things called smoke-free indoor air laws, and those are meant to protect people from hazardous exposure to tobacco smoke. But if you're vaping in those places, who knows what you're exposing people to? So, to start to understand what kinds of chemicals are in the aerosol, we introduced study 2 and 3, where we are using Juul and Blue brand e-cigarette devices. We're smoking them in a controlled setting, and we're assessing the airborne nicotine, PM2.5, and heavy metal exposure posed to people from the e-cigarette aerosol. And the reason for that is so that you can start to understand the risks posed by these people, by the use of these products. So raise your hand again if you think that future product regulations should be based in science instead of industry recommendations or guesswork. Now pat your back because you get it. So that's what this study is all about. That's what this thesis is all about, doing science to provide regulatory findings and framework for future regulations. Thanks.